listening to The Gender Rebels.
I'm Kathleen, a cis woman and ally.
And I'm Faith, a trans woman.
Gender Rebels is a question and answer podcast that explores life outside the gender binary.
A big thanks to our Patreon supporters.
If you'd like to support the show, go to patreon.com/genderrebels. Hey everyone, I'm Kat.
And I'm Faith.
Hey Faith, I got a question.
Yeah, what's your question?
Apparently there are people in the world who aren't so jazzed about gender variance.
I can't possibly imagine that such a thing would exist.
I know, but here we are. I'm going to read for you and for all of our listeners an email that was forwarded from a dear friend of ours.
And she's a listener, too.
A listener, hello.
So shout out to you, mystery friend.
And her aunt sent her an email that was sort of alarming and unsettling.
Yes.
And I hope you and I can unpack it.
All right, let's unpack this email from our mystery friend.
All right, so this is from Aunt.
Okay, our friend is Barack Obama.
Okay, all right, fine. Barry, thank you for the email.
Yes.
And this is Barack Obama's Aunt Nina.
It's not actually Barack Obama's Aunt Nina.
It's our friend's Aunt Nina.
Yes.
Why don't you give her a pseudonym? Because fuck Aunt Nina. And you'll see why.
Yeah.
All right. The background about Aunt Nina, before I begin reading this email, is that she hires people to work on her farm. And a lot of times that's migrant workers or
foreign travelers, like people who are staying at hostels and things like that.
Yeah. People who just want to get some work in, get some cash, and move on.
Yeah.
Here's Aunt Nina's email. Oh my God, I thought I'd heard it all. Young millennial couple in last night, moved here from Portland. Ha! Dad was a dead white, wimpy beta boy with a man bun. Mom looked like a pit bull in overalls. They had a 2-week-old baby, an adorable little... ... So, what is it? All caps. They won't say. Seriously. This benighted couple has decided that in the interest of political correctness, they are keeping the sex of their baby, all caps, a secret, so that everyone can, quote, appreciate it, unquote, as gender neutral. Jesus H. Christ. I mean, have they even told the poor grandparents? They sat there with this air of smug defensiveness. Even the little hipper-than-hip hippie girls I work with were sort of shaking their heads and rolling their eyes and muttering, I don't know why it has to be such a big deal. They are politicizing this poor child. How long will this go on? What is it going to do to the poor kid who will, of course, sense the confusion people feel when they interact with it? Are they planning to raise it up this way? To adulthood? To what purpose? I was tempted to say, quote, oh, I see. The poor wee thing is hermaphroditic. Oh, no worries. That will be fixable. Not sure this is gonna be fixable. Thanks, Aunt Nina.
Yes. Okay, so I want to, before we even get to unpacking this at all, I just want to say how cute a pit bull would be in overalls.
Oh my
A
God!
little pibble. A little pibble. And they've got the overalls.
Yeah, so cute.
That would be so cute. Okay.
We are fully in support of pit bulls wearing overalls.
Really, a pit bull in any kind of clothing
Or a
would
hat,
be very...
a little hat.
A little top hat. Oh my god.
Oh my God. All right. Okay,
where to
Aunt
start?
Nina.
Where to
Wow.
start? Let's unpack this like sentence by sentence.
Yeah, there's a lot of material here. Do you want to do any kind of overall thing or just sort of jump in?
Let's just jump in
Cool.
and start hacking our way through this jungle of verbiage.
Ugh, oof.
Okay.
Her vocabulary is quite good. She used benighted.
Yes.
That's a good word.
Yeah.
She's not a terrible writer, and her punctuation is top notch.
Okay, good. Well,
anyway, starting from the top. Oh my God, I thought I'd heard it all. Young millennial couple in last night, moved here from Portland, parentheses, ha!
I've never been to the city of Portland.
I have, and I like it a lot, and you're going to love it when we visit.
Yes.
Portland sounds great.
I mean, all I know about it is from the documentary Portlandia.
Correct. That documentary series on IFC. I guess Aunt Nina also watches that documentary.
Okay.
So she's laughing at the
idea that anyone
flawless
from
comedy
Oregon
of
must
Fred
be a
Armisen
huge...
and Carrie
Yeah,
Brownstein's
yes.
comedy is, Or the stereotype from Portland, I guess. All right, so they're in from Portland. Dad was a dead white, wimpy beta boy. I don't know what dead white means here.
I think that means he's like pale, I guess.
Okay.
Because she's a farm worker, so maybe she's used to people with
some more color on the
leathery skin
Okay.
because it's, sunscreen is apparently not a thing.
It's sunscreen's for fags, don't you know?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for women.
Uh-huh.
Wimpy. All right, that's up to her. Whatever. Beta boy. So I don't see a lot of that beta talk coming from, like, middle-aged women.
No, I would have thought it's a red pill thing, right?
I think so, yeah.
Betas are real cucks or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Chad gets in there somehow.
Right, I think
Chad is an alpha.
Yeah, anyway. This is a beta boy.
Wouldn't the incels or this fellow here be like Omega boys? That's a problem. The last letter of the Greek alphabet's Omega, which sounds awesome.
It actually does.
So
no, beta.
Beta boy.
He had a man bun. Not a haircut I would personally choose if I were a dude. But whatever.
It's hard to not judge people sometimes by their fashion choices, even though we really shouldn't, because quite frankly, people exist in different cultures than our own.
Yeah.
People may be thoughtful, they may be intelligent, but when everyone around you is like really into a certain style of dress, you tend to kind of adopt that.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's hard to really judge people by the character. We like to. It probably had an evolutionary advantage at some points, but yeah.
Yeah.
But don't do that.
This is a guy with long hair, and he's going with a bun instead of a ponytail to keep it out of his face.
Uh-huh.
Fair. Mom looks like a pit bull in overalls. We already addressed the
not
adorableness
feminine,
of that.
a feminine boy and a not feminine girl. What's going on with these hipsters?
Happening?
Okay.
They had a 2-week-old baby.
So actually, for a beta boy, hey, at least he's getting laid, right? All right.
And is presumably virile.
Yes.
And fertile, as is she. So you'd think that'd be a win in the hetero, cis, white, old, middle-aged lady column. But what do I know? They had an adorable little... Okay, cool. Aunt Nina, thank you for acknowledging the adorableness of this two-week-old. A little, so what is it they won't say? Seriously. This benighted couple has decided... Wait.
Let's actually unpack. They had a 2-week-old baby. An adorable little, ... So what is it? Caps.
They won't say seriously.
And that's what I think is hilarious. This woman's actually slightly angry.
Yeah.
Angry enough to send off a missive like this to relatives.
With sections in all caps.
That these people are not giving her information about their baby's junk.
Genitals. Why are you thinking about a baby's genitals?
Yeah.
Okay, let's be fair. She is thinking about more than the genitals.
I know, but that's what it really comes down to.
I know what it comes down
Babies
to.
don't have gender yet.
She just doesn't know whether she should call it sweet or strong.
Babies shit orange goo.
Whether it's
and
pretty
they cry, and that's
or handsome.
it.
She just wants a little direction on how to play with the baby.
All right.
But ultimately, it does come down to her insistence on knowing about a baby's genitals. Yeah. She's a stranger.
She is.
Go away.
And this gets into the entire concept of why gender is such a weird thing in our society, because ultimately when we meet people, the first thing we need to know is like their genitals. What are their genitals like?
What's your genitals? Yeah. And then we need to know their job.
Yeah.
And their race, that would help too.
Oh, that you can usually tell.
Because then you get them to fall into place of all of your preconceived notions, and you are once again right with the world.
Now it's easy to know whether or not you can judge this person.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, they won't say, in all caps, seriously, they won't say what the baby is. The benighted couple has decided that in the interest of political correctness, no, that's not why, Aunt Nina, that's actually not why. It has to do with gender dysphoria, which is crippling and in sometimes deadly condition. And they're keeping that away from their kid.
Yeah. Also, like I said earlier, babies don't have gender yet.
Yeah, I mean, kids
they have pink or blue hats or something like that, but that's about it when it comes to baby behavior. whether you're intersex, male, female,
Oh,
whatever.
behavior, yeah.
Their behavior is identical.
Yeah, but they've certainly got gender, even though it's inflicted on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. The color of the blanket you're wrapped
I know,
in,
but I'm just saying the baby doesn't
the
know
baby
that.
themselves. And the baby's the one, it makes sense that the baby's in charge of that.
Yeah.
Which is what I love about this couple. Not politically correct. It's for the baby.
Also,
they'll let the baby tell them.
Let's get rid of political correctness. That's really a straw man that came out in the 90s that
It's
was
a
invented.
dog whistle, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But it's the whole idea of something being quote unquote politically correct is actually a straw man argument from the 90s that we've just sort of held on to.
Yeah.
No one was ever.
I had a boss of our institute said, well, this might not be politically correct, but let's not fuck this up. And, so he said a bad word, but it's not like it was a politically incorrect thing. I think people just apply it.
In the 90s, people were like, let's not be assholes as much. Let's be, like, a little more inclusive.
Yeah,
and maybe say, like, mail carrier instead of mailman.
Let's say disabled instead of crippled. How about that?
And people
lost
on
their
the right
shit.
on the right invented this idea that you were going to get in trouble if you weren't politically correct, and that entire thing is a right-wing straw man argument. And it is just literally when people say politically correct or political correctness, what they're really referring to is someone told them not to be an asshole, and they don't like being told.
Not like that. Leftist, fascist fanatics telling me I can't say things.
All it is,
I guess I'll go shut up now.
All it is like if someone's complaining about political correctness, what happened is they were an asshole. There were consequences to their being an asshole, which might have just been someone calling them out on it, and they don't like that.
It's a new and different thing.
So now,
they used
they're
to
not
just
politically
be an
correct,
asshole. Right?
Yeah.
Or they're really proud.
Also,
about being
white, cis, straight, rich men used to get away with a lot of asshole behaviors.
Yeah, literal assault, rape, and murder.
Yeah.
Things have changed. It's so great that things have started to change. Yeah. Right. Political correctness. Yeah. They're keeping the sex of the baby a secret so that everyone can, quote, appreciate it as gender neutral. First of all, let me go on record of saying I love this. I have a Facebook friend who just had a baby and they're doing the same thing and it's a gender neutral name. They are not telling anyone, and that first Facebook post, we did it, we gave birth, our kid is here, this is their name. Don't ask us if it's a boy or a girl, we will not tell you. And all of the comments were like, your baby's beautiful, welcome to the world, baby, this is so great, hooray, I love your baby. And like people are being cool about it, so they probably think it's weird. There's grandmas and aunts and uncles and everyone's like, wait, what? You won't tell us? Yeah, we won't because we know what's going to happen. Can you just be cool for a while? The kid will let us know.
Yeah.
Probably before age 3, and then all of this will be over. So just be cool.
Literally had a coworker who recently had a baby, and before she had the baby, she was very, very into it and needed the rest of the office to be very, very into this. And so she was talking about like her gender reveal party, and all I could think about was the number of kids who are going to grow up because that gender reveal party gave them the wrong gender. And I know for most kids it's right, but it's like for those who's it's not. All I see is that crushing like weight of that.
Yeah.
Gender's not a small thing.
No.
And to free someone even tenuously from like having this crushing weight of gender like forced on them is awesome.
Yeah, it is such a tremendous gift for parents to give because think about the backlash these parents are going to get from Aunt Nina and from employers and from friends and from older relatives and from younger relatives and neighbors and your landlord. Like, imagine setting yourself up knowing that there's going to be bullshit, but being the total badass class act to decide, I'm going to absorb this bullshit now. So my kid, my beautiful infant, who I love more than anything and anyone I've ever seen ever, doesn't have to put up with bullshit like this. It is so profoundly beautiful. It is such a gorgeous thing to do. If I were a parent, which I never will be, but if I were, I don't know if I would be strong enough to do it. I'd like to think I could.
Yeah.
But I honestly don't know if I could, if we had a daughter
there
in
is
some parallel universe.
So much pressure,
I don't know if we could enforce a rule of no pink.
Yeah.
And this is like that. times 1,000. This is an amazing thing to do for your kid.
It is. And they say, like, so everyone can appreciate it as gender neutral. Gender neutral is actually something that should be celebrated. More things in our society need to be gender neutral.
Yeah.
Everyone, to like, fit people into boxes, which we like to do. We're an organized species.
Yes.
Like, our brains
We like categories.
Our brains are lazy, so they like to
Shortcuts.
lump things into categories so
Yeah.
we can think shortcuts.
Mhm.
And the truth is that when it comes to gender, it is completely a social construct, and
A potentially damaging
potentially
social
damaging
construct.
one. And to really be honest with ourselves, we would need 7 billion boxes.
Right.
But instead, in the past, we kind of looked at biology and said, okay, you know what, we're going to force people into 2 boxes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work. So anything we can do to break from that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It comes down to human suffering. It comes down to a way to minimize suffering for a small but significant percentage of the population. It is not that hard.
Yeah.
Get green and gray and purple and yellow clothes and paint in the nursery and just live your life. I mean,
Also, green is a better color than blue and pink, in my opinion. I like green.
I think it's very soothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this woman says it's a secret, and she makes secret in all caps,
All
too.
caps.
She went out of her way to hit that caps lock button and
Mhm.
write that. It's a secret. It's none of your fucking business, Aunt Nina. It's
Yeah.
none of your fucking business. It's, like, not a secret, like, that anyone's, like, keeping from you in a nefarious way. It's literally just people have their own business with their own family, and you're trying to pry into that,
Mhm.
and you're upset because they're not giving you the information that you feel entitled to.
And I get Aunt Nina's like, this hasn't happened before and I don't know how to respond to it.
Yeah.
And I get that, like, you get to know about a baby's genitals when you meet the baby, but now you don't.
Yeah.
Fucking deal, Aunt Nina.
It was traditional. Slavery was traditional, too.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
all right.
Women not owning property. Women being property.
Women
That was
being property,
traditional.
also traditional, yes. So
Maybe not
tradition
traditional,
is not
but
an excuse.
Dying in childbirth, that was a huge trend.
Yes,
That-
big old trend.
We're
yes.
carrying that trend still today. It's a secret. Everyone can appreciate it as gender neutral. Jesus H. Christ, I mean, have they even told the poor grandparents? First of all, taking the Lord's name in vain, Aunt Nina. Scale it back a little. Second of all, okay, so the poor grandparents. So this is what Aunt Nina's talking about.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying is, people like Aunt Nina they're going to have a hard time with it.
Yeah,
Maybe they've told the grandparents. Maybe they haven't. Probably the grandparents are like, wait, what?
but that's
And it
her.
took some doing.
But that's their family. She doesn't know the
Exactly.
grandparents.
Why are
It's-
you defending the grandparents?
I'm sorry. Do you not remember there were things called hippies in the 60s and beatniks before that? Like,
Maybe they had hippie grandparents.
Yeah.
Maybe Beta Boy and Pitbull in overalls were raised gender neutral until they were 3 or however old themselves. So yeah, maybe they have told the poor grandparents. Oh my lord. They sat there with this air of smug defensiveness. Okay, so if she is actually right, which I'm not sure about, but I don't love smugness. I can't get behind that.
Yeah,
But I feel like Aunt Nina might be projecting a little bit.
she might be.
Mhm.
Also, sometimes when you're doing the right thing and someone's shitty about it, and you're like, you know what, be shitty about it, that can come off as smug.
Sure.
So,
Aunt Nina is kind of being smug and defensive right now
She is,
herself.
yeah.
It just occurred to me. She's like, what the heck? How is this possible? You even told the grandparents. That's defensive.
yeah.
And smug is calling them names right from the top. Nice 3rd grade behavior, Aunt Nina. Keep it up. And I like how she goes for backup on this.
Yeah, I do.
This next sentence, what does she say?
Even the little hipper than hip hippie girls I work with were sort of shaking their heads and rolling their eyes and muttering, I don't know why it has to be such a big deal.
All right. Aunt Nina, got a real quick question. Do you have like a little welcoming ceremony every time a new bunch of workers shows up at your farm and you had all the hippier than hip girls like lined up behind you like the Von Trapp children? passing judgment on each person who comes in? Because otherwise, I'm going to call bullshit on this whole scene.
No, I wonder, like, I don't know why it has to be such a big deal. I'm not sure if they were saying that to, like, to the hipster parents, or if they're saying that to Aunt Nina.
Yeah,
who are they shaking their heads and rolling their eyes at?
This is true. Yeah, it's framed as these hippie girls join me in my judgment and disgust. But in fact, the hippie girls might be telling Aunt Nina, I don't know why you're making a big deal out of this. Please stop insisting to know this infant's genitals. Please. I don't know why it has to be such a big deal. They're politicizing this poor child. Not really. They're negative politicizing.
Everything is political, right?
Is a diaper political?
Yes, because politics can be involved, because diapers generate a ton of waste.
Unless they're cloth, which is a whole other thing.
Okay, diapers can be politicized. Everything is political. Everything's political. Everything's economic.
God, you're smart.
This is what I remember in history class. What is this? It's religion, economics, and politics. All three.
That's what history
everything twists together.
Yeah. Well, they are politicizing the poor child. And so are you, Aunt Nina, you fucking creep. How long will this go on? What is it going to do to the poor kid who will, of course, sense the confusion people feel when they interact with it? All right, Nina. Faith knew when you were, what, 3?
I was about 3. But also I want to point out something real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, how long will this go on? Probably till the kid's about 3.
Yeah.
Like we said. But what is this one?
What is it
going to do this poor kid who will, of course, sense the confusion people feel when they interact with it?
People are confused when they interact with me.
Kids aren't psychic.
They're actually kind of stupid, especially under age 3.
Yeah, especially
rather self-focused.
It's so funny. My parents, when I was little, refused to cut my hair until such time as my great uncle, who lived in upstate New York near Poughkeepsie, could cut it. He was a barber, and it was this like family tradition, and my dad's an idiot, so he sticks to family traditions even when they're grossly impractical, like the fact that I was living in Germany until I was 3 or 4 years old.
Do you think that long, pretty hair is what made you into a girl?
No.
Are you sure?
No, because I barely remember this.
Okay.
But the point is that I do recall that, always being complimented as being such a pretty little girl. And my mom correcting people. And if I was confused, maybe I'm trans because of that. But
probably.
I doubt it.
Yeah, probably. That's probably
what drove me to it, yes. Yeah, so kids.
So you had long, pretty hair.
I had confusing gender stuff early on, so did that screw me up? I doubt it.
But this is a great test case for Aunt Nina, who clearly has a scientific concern about the child's well-being. You were misperceived as a girl.
Yeah.
Because of your hair, by strangers interacting with you, and your mom said, "Oh, this is my son."
Yeah.
It's a haircut thing. It's a
I had long,
story.
Beautiful curls. So
right.
It was glorious.
And then the strangers are like, Entschuldigung. And they, apologized and moved on. So, Aunt Nina is very concerned on your behalf.
Yeah.
For the confusion that those strangers felt when they interacted with you.
Yeah.
How did that damage you?
It might have damaged. I actually don't think, because as we've talked about in our episode about MRI and the brain and being trans, there is some mounting evidence that trans brains are structurally different from birth,
slightly,
and
but
there's also some hormonal differences
yes.
In utero again before birth.
Yes,
and so. The evidence seems to be pointing that there is a prenatal.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the right word?
Yeah, it is. It is a prenatal. We're thinking a hormone in utero that is atypical.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's very possibly. So this is not really gonna. I didn't become trans because my dad wouldn't give me a haircut. I became trans because of my mom's body making me this way.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Aunt Nina, in case you're worried, the kid will not be affected by the confusion people feel when they interact with this
I don't
kid.
remember anything earlier than 3 or 4.
Yeah.
How old was... That's everyone's earliest memories,
And if
right?
that's about when a kid starts to want to dress like a girl, or want to dress like a boy, or be neutral, non-gender, agender, bigender.
I would actually be curious to see how old someone had raised a kid without gender. And again, that's anecdotal, it's not scientific, but I would be curious to see, because kids, a 4-year-old kid, a 5-year-old kid, I've met some, and they seem more interested in like running around and drawing dinosaurs than in gender.
They play girl games or boy games, but I think in a lot of cases they were raised that way.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to tell. These kids are not like control subjects. They are not without these influences. And these parents, God bless them, are trying to keep those influences away and just let the kid turn out to be whatever they are. If they turn out to want to play with the girls and want to wear a dress, cool, we're going to go with that. If they turn out to want to play with the boys and call me a boy and I'm a boy, and insist on dressing like a boy, then we'll do that.
Yeah.
I love this idea so much.
I do. I really do like it.
Politicizing the poor child.
I wish my parents had done this,
right?
Until I was like 12, and then they would have let me pick. Or whatever, puberty.
Right. Yeah. I was tempted to say, oh, I see. The poor wee thing is hermaphroditic. Oh, no worries. That will be fixable. Holy fuck, there are layers of bad here.
Okay. Do you want to... We discussed this in our asexual... I mean, not asexual, but our... Intersex episode. Hermaphroditic is something entirely different.
Humans are not hermaphrodites, but we get what you're going for, Aunt Nina. Second, I see... Since she says I was tempted to say, she perceives this as an insult.
Yeah.
That to be intersex is bad. Oh, I see. Your child is bad. Is intersex.
Again, intersex people as common as redheads.
Yeah, and awesome, by the way. Hilarious and fun and informative.
There must be a lot of intersex people in Scotland, then.
That is Scotland. Actually, it's kind of a funny thing about Scotland.
Oh, okay.
That's a whole separate episode, though. And Ireland, too. There's some bleed over, The poor wee thing, Aunt Nina, is not hermaphroditic. It can't be. Worms are. Humans can be intersex. The poor wee thing is not poor for being intersex. It's just their situation, and maybe don't feel sorry for them. Last, that will be fixable?
That's something in our culture that does need to be fixed, is the idea that intersex people are broken. And need to be fixed. That has caused more actual heartbreak and
suffering,
trouble than kids being raised
suicides.
in gender neutral.
Yeah. Fixing intersex people is going to go down in history with the Salem witch trials and the Stanford prison experiment.
Yeah.
And for you to throw that around because you don't get to know the genitals of an infant is fucking horrific, frankly. But for our listeners, that will be fixable is never an okay thing. If a parent comes to you and says, this is my child, they're intersex, we're figuring it out. Don't say, that will be fixable, because they're not broken. They're just different.
Yeah.
If they come to you with a redhead baby, don't say, that'll be fixable. Even though you can dye hair. You can dye red hair black or brown or blonde or any of the normal colors. Yeah. It's fixable, but it's a shitty thing to say. Don't say that.
And to all our redheaded listeners, we love you.
We love you. I wish I were actually redheaded.
I'm actually trying to. I have red highlights in my hair.
Yeah.
My mom and I both have brownish red.
You would look great as
hair,
a redhead.
And so I am waiting for my hair to grow out so I can be a redhead.
And I've strawberry blonded a bunch of times, and it looks very nice and natural. But that red rinses out so quick. I just wish it was just red. But
anywho,
the struggle of trying to be a redhead.
Yes,
trying to fix our
We're
hair.
about as pale as redheads, so.
That's why we're able to get away with it.
Yeah.
And her final statement, not sure this is going to be fixable. Oh,
I think
Nina.
in that last statement, she's referring to her own attitudes about the world.
I want to believe you're right.
Yeah.
But I know that you're wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, so, hey, guys. sorry there's shitty people out there, and sorry we talked about one for this entire episode. But, wow. When our friend sent us this email, we were very eager to record an episode.
Yes.
Aunt Nina.
Just, here's some quick takes. A TLDR, too long didn't read on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe don't give a shit about other people's business.
Yes.
Especially, how they're choosing to raise their kid.
Yes, that's a tricky one. It's really hard to come at someone about how they're raising their kid. And I know, I've heard from pregnant ladies and new moms that this happens all the time. Older women or older men approach them and give free, helpful, unsolicited, and borderline insulting advice at all times. Just smile and move on. But, older generation, come on, could you just not, please?
Yeah.
You made mistakes, and today's moms are going to make mistakes, and they'll learn from it, and they'll move on, and it'll be okay. And just like you did some stuff better than your parents, today's moms are going to do some stuff better than you did. That's just how it is with progress and medicine and advancements and sociology. So, be cool. Can you just be cool?
And the next time that you're sitting there, dear listener, thinking about firing off an email, deeply mocking someone you just met,
for a choice you wouldn't have made.
Pause. Just pause.
Put the mouse down. Walk away from the desk.
Hang up the fax machine.
Unplug the modem.
Yep.
Get a drink of water.
Turn that beeper off.
And then just do anything else.
Other than send that email.
Other than cast judgment on someone you don't know doing something that is none of your fucking business.
There you go.
Even if it deprives you of being able to say,
so much,
what a sweet girl.
So much transphobia and homophobia is just really people not minding their own business.
Yep. Back off.
Yeah.
Didn't need your comments. Still don't want them.
Yep.
So to Aunt Nina, go fuck yourself.
Yep.
To our listeners, I hope you don't have family members or friends or coworkers who say things like this. But if you do, maybe you're a little more prepared for dealing with it.
Yeah. Or pull a Katie Rain Hill like our last guest, who was amazing.
Yeah.
And
rise above it.
Rise above it.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said go fuck yourself, but I didn't really Katie Rain Hill that. She wouldn't have said that. She would have dealt with it in a better way.
She's better than both of us.
She's a better person, 100%. Well, thanks for listening, everybody.
All right, everyone.
Hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll talk to you next time.
If you have a letter from a shitty relative that you'd like to share on the program, send it to us.
Yes, please. At questions@genderrebels.com.
Yes.
We'll talk to you next time, folks.
All right, everyone.
Bye.
Yeah, you got it right. I got it wrong. If you've enjoyed this episode and want to help us keep making more great content, go to patreon.com/genderrebels.
We have many different levels of support and lots of great rewards,
including drinks with the Gender Rebels at Stonewall.
Please leave a 5-star review on iTunes. That makes it easier for other people to find us.
And send your questions to questions@genderrebels.com. Or find us on Twitter @TheGenderRebels.
Music for The Gender Rebels is by Jasper the Colossal. Follow the link down below or download them on iTunes today.
And for all our episodes, visit genderrebels.com.
The Gender Rebels is a Come Back Sync production, copyright 2018. All rights reserved.
And to all you Gender Rebels out there, keep rebelling.
Bye. Bye.